Welcome back to another video. This one, we're going to tackle some leftover wiring and see if we can get a few other things working on the car. If you remember in the last video, I said we were getting a new puppy. Well, here he is. This is Rocky, our new little German Shepherd. Pretty sure you'll see him in some videos hanging around. The first thing I'm going to start with is the easy one, getting the reverse lights working. Now, the kit that I got to make the engine run says all I have to do is connect that green wire there to the reverse lights and it should work. After we get that running, then I'm going to try and get the Speedo working. Now the Speedo is a different kettle of fish, but let's get the reverse lights working and stop the new puppy from chewing the existing wiring in the car. What I have done is I've just connected a wire which is running through to the back of the car from that green wire to the reverse lights and checked to see if that works, and it does when the car's in reverse. That makes the tail lights come on. So what I have to do is this green wire needs to be wired into the reverse lights, which if you trace back to the back of the car is this light green wire. So I'm going to trace it under the dash wherever it goes, and we'll plug that wire into that, and that should give us reverse lights. I've now connected, or what's going to be my green wire, to the green wire on the neutral safety switch, which plugs into the car wiring harness, which goes to the reverse lights. I'll plug that in, get this to the right size, connect it to this, and we should have reverse lights all the time in reverse. Go to reverse, put the ignition on. We've got reverse come up on the dash, which is good. And in the boot, we should have a couple of reverse lights, which we do. Happy days, that's now done. Now that the reverse lights are working, let's tackle this Speedo. I've had a few people ask, what have I done for the Speedo? And I've told them it's a GPS one. I stand corrected, I've had a look. It's not a GPS one. It is an electronic ratio interface. So what this is meant to do is convert the signals from the 4L60E into this, and then it sends an output through the blue wire, which we need to connect to the existing wiring in the car to make the digital Speedo work. Will it work? That's what we're about to find out. The kit that I got to run the car was for the Calais model, because I have the digital Speedo. Now, from what I understand, there's 3 wires that come out of that kit: pink, black and purple, which red is power, black is earth, white is signal out, and I think blue is signal in. So what needs to be done is the blue wire needs to go to the wiring harness in the car, which sends the pulse out, which is turning it into some sort of signal to make the Speedo work. Now, this is the way that I understand it. Whether it be right or not, I don't know. But this box is the same as the original transducer. This part here, which is what turns the revolutions of the cable into a signal in here, sends it to the Speedo and the Speedo works. So that's what I believe this box to do. Let's try wiring it up and see how we go. As just previously discussed, this is the 3 wires in the kit that's meant to make the Speedo work, which comes from the ECU. So let's get some wires in it and see what happens. All right, I've got the wires where they need to be. I've taken the wire that was on the transducer, plugged it into where it's meant to go in the engine bay, and stuck the blue wire into where the purple wire is, because that's the one that is pulse out according to the factory workshop manual. Now I will jack the rear wheels up, start the car and put it in gear and see if anything happens. Started the car, put it in gear, nothing. Also tried every position on that wire, which is 3, so there was 33% chance that it was going to be right. Doesn't work. So something's missing. Now is the hard task of tracking down why doesn't it work, because it's wired up how it says to meant to do it. So now for the troubleshooting. Been trying a couple of other things which haven't worked. It does say on the box here, drive for 1 kilometre. So I left the car running in gear, still nothing. However, I did check with the test light. That is obviously ignition power earth. There is a slight signal coming from that one, and there's also a signal coming from that one. So there's definitely a signal coming out of the box. However, I can't help but think that I need 2 more wires in here, which is the original plug. So I've got the sign in. Do I need another sign out and another earth to make that work? Probably. So if I connect another signal in to the white wire on the box, which will give me signal, and then if I go earth to earth on the box, it may give me a completed circuit. Because what I'm thinking now is purely just having one output signal on there is not completing any circuit. That's why nothing's working. It's just saying it's 0. I guess that's the next thing to try, is hook those 2 up to the other, or there, and see what happens. Well, it appears I've had a little breakthrough. Let me start the car and show you what's happened. Okie dokie, I'm in the car now. We'll put it in gear and have a look at this. Take my foot off the brake. Look at that. Speedo is working. I will show you how I did it. And brake on, back down to 0. So, what did I do to get this to work? Well, I tried everything with this box to get it to work. Nothing. With it all connected up to the wiring, like all these to where it says to go in the instructions. With the car in gear, it did give a signal to the blue wire, which is meant to be pulse out, which needs to be connected to the Speedo, again according to these instructions. After none of that worked, I decided to try my own idea. I did do a little bit of research last night and found on the Just Commodore's page what these 3 wires actually are, which I'll put that up. Basically it says you've got an ignition power, an earth, and then one is a pulse, which is this purple wire here, and you've got your earth and your positive on ignition. And it turns out the harness that came with this kit is very similar. It has ignition positive, earth, and a pulse. I just thought, what the heck, I'm going to connect those 3 to those 3 and see what happens. And bada boom, bada bing, the Speedo works. So now, all I need to do is tidy up all of this wiring, because now that's pretty much the wiring done. That can go all hidden back under the dash. Steering column can all go back on. We just have the electric window wiring, blah, 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 out. Everything else can go under the dash, can go back together, and we're done. I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I start putting it all back together, I need to make these wires permanent, and that one's probably going to have to come through the firewall. So we'll start with that. Now, the wiring is sorted out and permanently in. Now I can tuck everything away and start hiding some of this mess. Sitting on the passenger side of the car, I've got the under dash cover on, and I've also put the kick panel on. Now that's not going to stay there because the car's not painted, but I just wanted to test. The ECU fits behind it, everything nice and snug. I do need to make a mounting for the ECU so it's secure, so it's just sitting there at the moment. So everything's tucked up, nice and hidden. The loom is just there, but the carpet will go on top of that, and that will keep that secure. And jumping over to the driver's side, I have the cover on. Cleaned up some wiring, still got a little bit to go. I can't find my little clips that put the plastic up. It seems that I've used them for the guard liners because they're the same thing. So I need to find a couple more of them. They'll be lying around somewhere. And I haven't 100% found a home for the OBD2 port, but I've just got it sitting up in that gap there. That can be mounted later on, so that'll just screw in somewhere. And I've also got to find a home for the check engine light. The steering column's plastics are all back on. So it's buttoning up, slowly but surely. I am getting there. That about wraps it up for this video. Once again, apologies to everyone that I told who's asked me how did I get this Speedo working, and I told them a GPS. No GPS, no ratio interface jargon, just connect the wires together, you'll be laughing. If anybody has any questions for me on this, on how it worked, if you're not too sure, shoot me a comment and I'll be happy to try and help in any way I can to anyone who's having Speedo issues with their Calais dash and their 304 conversion. On that note, I want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.